Simmons, well, he signed that 5-year, $170 million contract, max extension in the summer of 2019, 2 years ago, has 4 years and $147 million left on his deal. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2025. All right, here's some potential trades. According to our CBS NBA reporter Sam Quinn, you can see there he's Trailblazers for McCollum and Robert Covington. And how about the T-Wolves and Russell there and Beasley? How about the Pacers, Brogdon and T.J. Warren, the Raptors, Pascal Siakam? There's a fifth option as well to the Bulls for the high-flying Zach LaVine. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Bill Reiter. Bill, you looked at some of those options that Sam had there. Where do you think he'll go? Let's talk about some of those landing options there. We'll start with Portland. Rip City, Rap City. How about the Blazers?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Blazers are a likely landing spot for Ben Simmons. You said it, Larry. He had a brutal postseason. I'll add another stat to the mix of the horror show for Philly fans. Ben Simmons, who's making all those millions of dollars, took exactly 3 shots in the fourth quarter over 7 games. That's 7 fourth quarters. Took just 3 shots in crunch time. But he's still a talented guy. And you know, they say buy when they're selling, sell when they're buying. There are certainly markets out there like Portland where it's hard to recruit talent, where reclamation projects are the way that you have to go tactically. And I think there's an understanding within the organization, talking to folks in Portland, that C.J. McCollum, as talented as he is, may not be the right fit with Damian Lillard. They haven't gotten where they want to go. There's a sense that they're regressing. They've obviously moved on from their head coach and Terry Stotts, and Vegas likes Portland. If you want to put some money on whether or not Ben Simmons is going to be somewhere else, it's 2-1, the betting favorites. He'll land in Portland, in part because there's probably a desire from the Trailblazers and the GM Neil O'Shea, and McCollum's a really enticing piece if you're trying to get Daryl Morey to move on from Simmons.
Man, if you're the Sixers, don't you want Dame Lillard?
Yeah, I mean, look, you want Dame Lillard, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, but you aren't getting them. I'll tell you this. There's a snowball's chance in hell that the Trailblazers will trade Damian Lillard. I know that they believe, and I think this is legitimate, that he's a top 10 player in the NBA, certainly in the postseason. So that's where the negotiation happens, right? You ask of the world, but there is absolutely, I'm telling you right now, I will bet and I love my children. I will bet my children.
Don't do it, Bill. Don't do it.
It won't be Damian Lillard. There's no chance for Ben Simmons.
Yeah, also Dame Lillard, a bad boy in NBA 2K, or the cover boy of NBA 2K 21. Also, you look at the Wizards. How do you think that would play out? Maybe shipping him down to D.C. Bradley Beal, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting organization to keep an eye on, in part because Bradley Beal is so valuable. Now, you're not going to have a Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons straight-up trade. I mean, Beal can score 30 points per game, and you put him on a well-run team with someone like Joel Embiid or any co-star, with all respect to Russell Westbrook, and that's a championship-level contender if he's in a well-run organization. But if Bradley Beal just decides he does not want to be there, and that's one of the big question marks of this upcoming free agency, this upcoming offseason, if Beal wants to be gone, the Wizards have to move on. It's probably a 3-way trade. There's probably other pieces that have to be involved, and you're certainly attaching more than just Ben Simmons to get Beal, but it would make sense, especially a fresh start for a guy like Simmons. Again, and I think for every team we're going to talk about, Larry, if Ben Simmons can learn to shoot a little bit. I don't mean he has to be Steph Curry. Giannis did it. Russell Westbrook's not exactly a world-class shooter. Just the ability to hit some shots. His upside is, people around the NBA believe, Giannis-like or beyond.
Yeah, and you look at some of those videos last summer. Knocking down deep threes in those pickup games. What about a team like the Warriors? You put them in that organization out there in the Bay Area, got shooters surrounding them, Bill. I like that fit.
Yeah, I do too. And I can tell you, just talking to sources around the NBA, Golden State kicked the tires last year, a year ago in the offseason, on the notion of some kind of a trade that would have brought Ben Simmons to Golden State, maybe a Kyle Lowry trade that involved the pick that became James Wiseman. Now, you've got to move some serious pieces. Even though Ben Simmons' value has been reduced, he's still highly valuable. But I think it makes a lot of sense in Golden State, Larry, for the reasons you just said. They already have shooters. Simmons is a world-class defender, assuming you don't move Draymond as part of that deal, and I wouldn't put anything past GM Bob Myers to try to keep this window open for Steph Curry a little bit longer. But if Draymond remains, you've got Draymond Green and Ben Simmons on a team with those kind of shooters. You're talking about a really, really dangerous squad. And the Warriors believe, right or wrong, that they're capable of bringing some guys in. Andrew Wiggins is an example, who have major potential, who did not live up to that at their last stop, and through their culture and their locker room, bringing out the best in those guys.
You look at the Lakers, you got the connections with LeBron James, Rich Paul, Clutch Sports. How about La La Land out there in Hollywood, Bill?
Yeah, I think that, and then you said it, I think that's the reason. I think it's a hard, for all the reasons that the Lakers can't go get some of the players that they'd like. I mean, there have been all kinds of rumors. It's not a secret that LeBron James would like to play with Damian Lillard. I mean, you name a superstar, LeBron would like him to be there. The Lakers don't have a lot to give in return, right? They're not trading LeBron James. They're not trading Anthony Davis. But you said it. Rich Paul is the agent to Ben Simmons. He is the guy that is right now meeting with the Sixers in Chicago, trying to figure out what the future is going to be. And not only is Rich Paul the CEO of Clutch Sports, LeBron's agency, and LeBron's nominal agent, they're also friends. I mean, they go back to the Akron days. LeBron really sort of lifted that guy into this position. They're confidants. And so what Rich Paul wants is usually what LeBron James wants. And even though the Lakers don't have enough to give, neither really did the Brooklyn Nets. Not really when they went out and they got James Harden. If a guy wants to force his way out, wants to go to a particular place, we've seen that can happen. I think it's a longer shot, but it's a team worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, we didn't mention teams like the T-Wolves and the Bulls and other teams like that. Bill, as far as a betting favorite, where do you think Ben Simmons would end up if the Sixers do unload him? And once again, they've said that they're probably going to hold on to him. At least that's what reports say.
I'll say this. You're right. They have said that, and I like Daryl Morey, who's their president of operations. Daryl also said that he left the Houston Rockets for family time and 30 seconds later took a job, running the Philadelphia 76ers. I think it was actually 3 weeks later. So Daryl's great, and Daryl's amazing in his job, and he's a good guy, and he's full of it half the time because that's his job. So I don't believe for a second when the Sixers tell us anything coming out of Daryl Morey's lips. I just don't. And Vegas doesn't believe it either. The betting line right now is minus 300 that Simmons will be somewhere else at the start of the season. That doesn't even get into the fact that the Sixers decided to hold him out a little bit and see if they could get more value for teams that are desperate at the trade deadline next year. Just at the start of next season, he's minus 300 to be elsewhere. I think there's a really good chance that he will be moved on. Doc Rivers said it, Larry, and you referenced it, right? In the heat of the moment, having been eliminated, angry, emotional, at your most candid, Doc Rivers was asked, can Ben Simmons be the point guard of a championship team? His answer, I don't have the answer right now. You and I both know that translates to no, he can't. So I think there's a good chance Simmons gets traded.
All right, we'll see. It will be the summer of Ben. He is Bill Reiter, our NBA columnist and analyst. Bill, appreciate it. All right, you take a look at the fourth quarter in that series against the Hawks there, and game one, he was 2 for 2, and then you look at it, the last 6 games, just 1 field goal attempt for Ben Simmons. Struggles there for the Sixers against the Hawks. They lose in 7 games. Once again, Ben Simmons still 4 years, $147 million left on that huge deal. We'll see where he goes this summer. Will he stay in the city of brotherly love?
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.